Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. It's great to see you all again. It's wonderful to be sharing another day together. And it's wonderful, a real privilege, to be introducing this next session, which is a dedicated space for our youth ambassadors. We've spoken about the vital importance of our youth ambassadors and of the involvement of young people more generally in our Talitha Kum networks worldwide. So I'm really delighted that our youth ambassadors will have this space to share their perspective and their experience with all of us. So just to let you know, the networks are going to come up to the stage in the following order. We'll have the presentation from Africa first, then from Asia, Oceania, then from the Americas, and then from Europe. I also wanted to let the youth ambassadors know that our clicking system for the presentations is not working very well. So our lovely technicians over there in the corner will be paying attention to your every signal, and whenever you wave at them or point at them or generally give them a signal that you want the next slide, they'll be ready to make that happen for you. So, without further ado, I'm really delighted, and I invite you to give a warm round of applause to call to the stage our first presentation from Africa.
Kind regards to you all, Talitha Kum, and other stakeholders who are present here. Much honored to be part of this organization as a youth ambassador. My name is Elizabeth Chanyao. I'm from Zimbabwe, representing Africa. So I'm going to present the efforts of Talitha Kum youth ambassadors. How are they doing? And the things that are improving in Africa. So we are using the 5 pillars to prevent human trafficking in Africa. Number 1, the pillar of prevention. Youth ambassadors raised awareness about human trafficking among their peers and communities, educating them on the signs of trafficking, the importance of healthy relationships, and the need to report suspicious activities. They organized campaigns, events, and social media initiatives to reach a wider audience. Another pillar of protection. Youth ambassadors supported organizations that provided services to survivors of human trafficking, such as counseling, shelter, and legal assistance. They advocated for policies and programs that protected vulnerable individuals and groups from trafficking. Going next to partnership. Youth ambassadors collaborated with other organizations, government agencies, and community to amplify their impact. They participated in coalitions, attended conferences, and engaged in advocacy efforts to push for anti-trafficking legislation and policies. By working together, they leveraged resources, expertise, and networks to combat human trafficking more effectively. the pillar of prayer. Through prayer, youth ambassadors in Africa have mobilized a powerful force against human trafficking. They have organized prayer rallies, vigils, and campaigns, bringing together communities and faith leaders to pray for victims, perpetrators, and those working to combat trafficking. They've also used social media to spread awareness and mobilize prayer support using hashtags like #PrayAgainstTrafficking and #EndHumanTrafficking. These prayer efforts have helped to raise awareness, build solidarity, and bring comfort to survivors. By praying for the perpetrators, they've also sought to bring about transformation and repentance, addressing the root causes of this evil. In addition to that, youth ambassadors in Africa have also taken a strong stance on prosecution, advocating for justice and accountability for traffickers. They've worked with law enforcement agencies, providing information and support to help identify and prosecute traffickers. They've also pushed for policy changes and legislation to strengthen anti-trafficking laws and increase penalties for traffickers through their advocacy. They've helped to bring about high-profile conviction and dismantling of trafficking networks. By combining prayer and prosecution, these youth ambassadors have demonstrated a power and holistic approach to combating human trafficking, addressing both the spiritual and legal aspects of this complex issue. By this, ladies and gentlemen, youth ambassadors of Africa are also pleading for economic help from Talita Kum and other stakeholders who are present so that we can move forward together with our theme of having a dignified community and also people who are helping each other so that we advocate for one another as youth or as young ambassadors, so that we continue to work together in dignity. We move together, leaving no one behind. As Africa, we are really thankful to Talita Kum, as they are also recognizing our works and recognizing the things that we are doing in partnership and with the help of our local coordinators. And also the youth ambassadors of Africa are working as a team. In more particular, in Zimbabwe, we are collaborating and we are working together as a team so that we combat this pandemic of human trafficking. So we are also pleading, if we can get more assistance from Talita Kum and from other stakeholders so that we move forward. I've been thinking that we are enjoying really nice coffee, really nice breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But we do have our brothers and sisters whom we left behind and whom are working behind the scenes, but they don't have much in their hands. And we don't have much as youth ambassadors of Africa, but they also need our help. So Talita Kum, with greatness and with positive regards, we are pleading more for your assistance so that we move together, so that we collaborate together, so that as Africa, we raise our flag to combat human trafficking and to combat this pandemic, which has grown, especially to the young people, due to the issues like poverty. Many are perpetuated into issues like slavery, modern day slavery, and into issues like commercial sex work, in looking for better and greener pastures. A lot of our brothers and sisters are struggling in Africa. Hence, representing them as youth ambassadors of Africa, We are really appreciating you for the support you have given us. Also looking forward to get more support. Kind regards, Elizabeth Chanyao.
Let's take a moment to let that sink in. 30 seconds to absorb such power. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. What a stirring opening to this session. So I will ask you now to take your seat, and I will invite up to the stage our next group from Asia and Oceania. Let's give them a round of applause as they walk up. Hello. Hello.
Today, we will present about best practices and challenges of Talita Kum Youth Ambassadors in Asia and Oceania. My name is Mariel. I am from the Philippines, and I am representing Talita Kum Youth Ambassadors Japan.
Hello, my name is Arya Pongpit. I am Thalita Kum Youth Ambassador from Thailand.
Hello, my name is Maris. I am from Vietnam. Represent Talitakum Youth Ambassador, Vietnam.
My name is Reshma, and I'm representing Talita Kum Youth Ambassadors, India.
And my name is Izzy. I'm representing Talitha Kum Youth Ambassadors, Oceania.
Human trafficking affects everyone. First, we are thankful to Talita Kum for empowering us youths.
Our fight against human trafficking, we belong and we are just starting this movement.
In Asia, if there is globalization, people will continue to move across countries. Corporations will continue to take advantage of lower economies. People in our country will continue to take advantage of, we will continue to be exploited. Our work is important. We want to restore dignity and protect the future generation. As young as we are, we continue to advocate, hoping that it will create ripples that will cause waves.
We want to raise social awareness and be the voice of the voiceless.
Okay, so let me talk about Vietnam's best practice. Yeah, I will be speaking on behalf of Maris. Their strongest point is raising awareness by age. For children, they talk about protecting their bodies and using social networks. For adults, they talk about job security and foul prevention. Their main method include using role-playing and charades. In this method, they can create comfort, fun, and impression. The creation of small group discussion allows them to discuss the situation and provides appropriate solutions.
Next, I want to talk about the best practices and challenges in Talita Kum Youth Ambassadors Japan. So in Japan, the tasks and objectives are clear. We raise the consciousness of the youth. Sexual exploitation and labor trafficking are prevalent in Japan. Many underage girls become victims of human trafficking. Host club businesses are very popular. This is why we do advocacy in junior high school and high school for them to be aware of their rights because they are the main target age group. Japan is also an aging society, and it has a low birth rate right now. In terms of labor exploitation, they source workers from ASEAN countries. Unfortunately, some companies take advantage of them. The reality is that a lot of them fall prey to false and fake contracts. With this in mind, we conduct advocacies to elementary students because they will be the future of their home country and become future bosses. So we are planting seeds that will eventually grow. Youth Ambassadors Japan as an organization has grown. So we are a diverse group from Japan, Mexico, Brazil, Spain, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Each of our experiences living in different countries has strengthened the group. When we work together, we consistently achieve great things. Talita Kum has given each of us a sense of purpose to make this world a better place. Thank you. We're just getting started. So in our advocacies, we have created modules and case studies for high school students for them to discuss and think critically. We want them to be aware and think for themselves. And for elementary students, we make it informative and fun by doing role plays. Thank you.
And the next is Thailand. Talitakum training equips us with the correct knowledge, enabling us to effectively educate children and teenagers. The training emphasizes teaching in the engaging and powerful manner, such as using picture and encouraging learner to use their imagination to explain this future based on their understanding. This method unite us, make learning enjoyable, and deepen our understanding of important issues. Moreover, the training highlight the significant impact that youth around the world can have in addressing this issue. Today, younger generation is increasingly aware and interested in tackling sensitive topics like human trafficking. Recognizing the power of today's youth, we face the challenge of guiding them in the world dominated by technology and AI. We aim to inspire them to courageously spread the message of stopping human trafficking and to live their life with dignity. Our members are actively involved in schools and communities throughout Thailand, spreading knowledge and protection through Talita Kum initiative. While we have seen many advantages from engaging with youth group, our focus remains on gathering local leaders to strengthen our effort. We coordinate with Talita Kum youth in Asia and around the world to ensure a unit effective approach.
India, a nation where human trafficking persists in various forms such as domestic work, forced and child marriages, labor exploitation, and sexual exploitation. Amrat has been able to work with many vulnerable youth by networking with different states. We have raised awareness in schools and in communities about this social evil and mobilized youth to fight against human trafficking, focusing on the important role they play for its eradication. The sisters, along with youth, have raided red light areas with the police and saved trafficked persons' lives. As a youth ambassador from India, my journey over the past year with the international network has progressed from engaging in online encounters with other youth ambassadors to participating in beta testing for the Talita Kum Walking in Dignity mobile application and sharing testimonies about the realities of Asia and India. Working with communications of the network, I have been enlightened by the commendable global efforts of Talita Kum youth ambassadors to combat human trafficking. In sharing the realities of human trafficking prevalent in Asia and particularly in India, I have raised awareness and educated my 12-year-old students living in vulnerable urban slums. In my role as a teacher in their lives, I have seized every opportunity to educate and empower young students about human trafficking.
I will now be speaking about two of the Oceania networks. Talitha Cum Pacifica, established less than a year ago, is still in its formative stages. It has the gift of being a diverse network, with its members spanning 5 countries: Fiji, Kiribati, Samoa, Tonga, and Solomon Islands. Despite the distance between them, its members are learning to stay connected and work collaboratively. With initial training now completed for all members, Talitha Cum Pacifica is focusing on 2 main priorities. The first is awareness raising. Talitha Cum Pacifica aims to engage with young people at the National Catholic Youth Gathering in September, as well as connect with mothers at the National Catholic Women's League. This engagement will provide a valuable platform for Talitha Cum Pacifica to educate mothers about preparing their children for city and tertiary life away from home. The second is establishing community-led peer support mechanisms for young people and other vulnerable populations, which focus on self-care and social well-being. Meanwhile, Talitha Cum Aotearoa, New Zealand, has been active in raising awareness about modern slavery and human trafficking by speaking at schools and parishes across the country. They have developed educational materials for Catholic schools to incorporate into religious education classes, as well as resources for the commemoration of St. Bakita's feast day and the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. On the advocacy front, the network is pushing for government policies that protect migrant workers and trafficked individuals while ensuring strict penalties for perpetrators. They are also advocating for a modern slavery act which mandates transparency in supply chains.
Now we will be moving on the challenges. So as youth ambassadors, we have found common challenges we are encountering right now. The first one is human resources. It is difficult to find members that are always present. So we need more resourcement and training for recruitment. It would be great if Talitha Cum can give us training materials that we can use in our own countries and translated for more training of youth ambassadors.
And the second one is spiritual guidance. Because we are founded on Catholic grounds, we want to improve and strengthen our identity as Christians. Thus, it would be nice to be in retreats that focus on our spiritual life.
The next challenge can be time constraints. How will we make everything more efficient? Many young people are busy with their own work and studies, so finding time to work together on awareness and advocacy can be a big challenge.
As youth ambassadors are growing, it's getting difficult to mobilize more youth to join the movement.
As youth from Oceania and Asia, we have one suggestion that we would like to propose, which is the facilitation of inter-youth meetings or online meetings that we can have, organized by Talita Kum International quarterly to learn more about each other and share our resources and best practices. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Let's give them an extra loud round of applause for dealing with the technology and the PowerPoints and the unexpected. Thank you very much. And we're just going to reflect again for a moment while our next group comes up to the stage. So we now welcome our next group from America, and they are a multilingual group, so keep your headphones at hand. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'll be speaking in French. Donc, bonjour à tous. Je m'appelle Rama Desjarlais et je suis la jeune ambassadrice du Canada. Donc, très heureuse d'avoir l'opportunité de me trouver devant vous pour vous partager l'un des projets de mon groupe. Et commençons. Donc, en effet, au Canada, nous avons un groupe de jeunes ambassadeurs qui a été mis sur pied par Sœur Isabelle Couillard il y a plus d'1 an et qui est chapeauté par le CATI, le Centre d'action contre la traite humaine interne et internationale. Donc, comme le pape l'a si bien dit, nous sommes des missionnaires de la dignité humaine. Donc, notre groupe, cette année, s'est donc activement engagé pour essayer de briser le tabou relié à la traite humaine et éveiller la conscience collective. Et ce, à travers la réalisation de diverses activités liées aux conditions précaires des migrants agricoles au Québec. Donc, notre projet de sensibilisation publique s'appelle « Agissons en sable ». Donc, il s'est concrétisé lors d'une matinée intergénérationnelle à notre église Saint-Bonaventure le 5 mai dernier. Donc, nous avons commencé par animer des activités interactives adaptées à tous les âges sur la production alimentaire et la diversité des acteurs impliqués pour réellement faire réaliser aux gens la provenance de ce qui se trouve réellement dans leur assiette. Ensuite, nous avons eu une discussion ouverte suite à la projection d'un extrait d'un documentaire essentiel qu'on appelle, que je vous conseille tous d'ailleurs, qui expose avec réalisme les défis quotidiens des travailleurs migrants agricoles au Québec. Et enfin, pouvons-nous mettre les photos? Merci. Et enfin, petits et grands ont été invités à répandre symboliquement du sable rouge, comme vous pouvez voir à l'écran, dans les fissures des trottoirs qui représentent les personnes piégées dans le cycle de la traite, qui méritent d'ailleurs d'être entendues et reconnues. Donc, notre projet a atteint un taux élevé de participation, ce qui a permis à plusieurs membres de notre communauté, incluant les enfants, d'être conscientisés à cette cause et à les faire réfléchir à travers une action significative et créative, à travers l'art. Donc, nous aurons d'ailleurs la chance de refaire cette action symbolique le 16 juin, cette fois-ci près d'une station de métro où il y aura beaucoup plus de circulation, en espérant toucher davantage de personnes. Donc, cette année, pour notre groupe de jeunes ambassadeurs du Canada, avec l'aide de Sœur Isabelle Couillard, merci, a été une année riche en actions de sensibilisation et de plaidoyer, ce qui a renforcé notre détermination à œuvrer pour un monde exempt de traite humaine. Merci.
Thank you. My name is Cheyenne, and I will be speaking in English. I am the youth delegate from the United States representing the Alliance to End Human Trafficking, a collaborative, faith-based national network that embodies Talitha Kum by offering education, supportive services to survivors, and advocacy work that aims to eradicate human trafficking. My involvement with Talitha Kum is just beginning, as we're currently working to establish a youth ambassador program within the United States. 5 years ago, I met the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet through the St. Joseph Worker Program, a volunteer program for young female leaders. The sisters' passion for social justice and profound love of the dear neighbor led me to begin a career in social work, where I currently work at a children's hospital with survivors of maltreatment. I'm currently working towards providing universal education to healthcare providers and patients on the complexities of human trafficking. In August, I will be traveling to the National Sexual Assault Conference in Washington, D.C., to speak on my experiences working with LGBTQIA+ youth in a clinical setting and what best practices should be used to engage these youth. Now that I'm connected with Talitha Kum, I will continue to use my voice to educate, empower, and spread awareness of human trafficking. Thank you.
Gracias. Buenos días, mi nombre es Angie Paola Suárez, soy de Colombia, pertenezco a la Red Tamar de Colombia y soy psicóloga de profesión. Soy laico oratriz de las hermanas de Cúcuta. Los jóvenes de Red Tamar somos 5 quienes recibimos la formación de Talitha Kum y hoy en representación de ellos voy a hablar a nivel general porque tenemos 3 proyectos en 3 territorios diferentes. Los jóvenes de Red Tamar, Colombia, agradecemos a Talitha Kum por la oportunidad que nos han brindado de prepararnos y poder continuar con la lucha de la prevención contra la trata de personas. Esto nos ha dado la posibilidad de hacer incidencia en la población de las ciudades de Bogotá, Cúcuta, zona frontera con Venezuela, y Puerto Leguízamo, Amazonía colombiana, en el cual hemos trabajado con mujeres en situación de prostitución y mujeres en riesgo de trata. Asimismo, con los niños, adolescentes y jóvenes, brindándoles todo tipo de prevención. Sentimos que el aporte que nos ha dado Talitha Kum favorece a que lleguemos a más personas, sensibilizando sobre esta realidad que le ha dado tanto daño a las realidad que a veces no conocemos y que en estos encuentros de la Asamblea hemos podido escuchar los testimonios que personalmente me han llenado mucho, me han tocado. Quería resaltar pues el testimonio de Cristina, yo soy laico oratriz, y yo le decía a ella que mientras ella iba comentando su proceso de sanación con la congregación, yo cuando ella iba relatando, yo sentía que era yo quien estaba haciendo ese proceso con ella. Yo comparto mucho ese carisma. Trabajamos con los niños también y aportamos mucho a la espiritualidad de nuestra red Tamar, que es coordinado por la hermana Ilse. Y con los niños compartimos mucho la espiritualidad de Talita Kum. Muchas gracias.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Bueno, buenos días, no sé qué horas son ahorita todavía. Mi nombre es Mónica, soy de El Salvador, Centroamérica, tierra de San Romero de las Américas. Pertenezco actualmente como laica voluntaria a la red Ramá en El Salvador y mi participación como joven en el programa de embajadores de la lucha contra la trata me ha permitido formar parte de una misión tan hermosa que desconocía realmente. ¿Cómo llegué a esta comunidad de mujeres que están luchando contra la trata? Me pasó que yo trabajé en algún tiempo con esta temática, sin embargo yo quedé muy marcada por la situación y entonces fui bastante insistente y de una u otra manera contacté con Talita Kum. Como la importancia que veo en El Salvador y que me ha motivado a continuar con ello es concientizar sobre el tema, sobre todo al observar que hay mucha necesidad de esfuerzos, sobre todo de jóvenes profesionales, que puedan difundir la información correcta y que nos permitan atender y abordar este problema tan sistemático. Requiere no solo de, como hemos hablado en esta ocasión, no solo de algunos involucrados, sino que también de muchos otros, religiosos, laicos, jóvenes, profesionales que están en algún momento en un espacio de toma de decisiones. Quería compartir también como parte de las actividades que Talita Kum ha hecho en El Salvador y del cual nos sentimos muy agradecidas por el apoyo brindado, es que nos ha permitido concientizar con los jóvenes, adolescentes y adultos jóvenes sobre la información de esas banderas rojas que los pueden poner en riesgo a ellos. Acompañarlos en la espiritualidad de Talita Kum y sobre todo escucharlos, conocer cuáles son sus anhelos, cuáles son todas aquellas cosas que muy probablemente nos ponen en riesgo para cuando buscamos un empleo, los estudios, etc. Y es por tanto de que nuestra participación desde Red Ramá es una invitación abierta a los jóvenes para que ellos también puedan formar parte de este esfuerzo. Muchas gracias.
Falar em português. Bom dia, eu sou Isabel Priscila, juniorista da Congregação das Irmãs de Nossa Senhora da Glória e jovem embaixadora do Brasil. Eu sou fruto de 41 sementes lançadas através do curso Juventudes Cuidadoras de Vida, que foi realizado no Brasil. Eu aproveito essa oportunidade para agradecer a Talita Kum e a Rede Um Grito pela Vida, pelo apoio. No Brasil, nós desenvolvemos 5 projetos, e, dentre eles, o projeto de comunicação, que produziu cards, banners, o projeto Juventude Criando Laços de Cuidado, que fez o gibi e arte da camisa. Esse aqui é o gibi produzido pelos jovens embaixadores do Brasil. Depois, quem tiver interesse e quiser conhecer, pode pegar. Também tivemos o projeto Vida Não Se Comercializa, Se Cuida, onde fizemos intervenções e conscientização nas escolas, projetos sociais. Também tivemos o projeto Juventude Amazônica Cuidadora de Vida, que foi oficinas de conscientização. Então, me comprometo, conhecendo cada um das realidades aqui de forma geral, me comprometo ainda mais a continuar com essa missão profética da Talitha Kum. E essa mensagem que fica para o final é de todas nós, jovens da América, é ouvir a voz do Senhor dizendo: a quem enviarei? E quem irá por nós? Eu então respondi: eis-me aqui, envia-me, envia-nos, Senhor.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias. Très bien. And let's take a moment again to just absorb all of that whilst our next group prepares to come up to the stage. Let's welcome our group from Europe.
Today we want to invite you to look in the eyes of Lina. But we don't want to invite you to look in the eyes of a survivor and imagine what she went through, the hard experiences, the trauma, the endless nights she spent planning her escape away from her traffickers. Beyond the narratives mean inviting you to look in the eyes of Lina as she listens from everyone saying to her, a leadership role for a survivor. Your past was so challenging. How can you support others and lead others? But you do not have a university degree. How can you become a teacher or teach other people about human trafficking? Your story and what happened to you is really what we need to hear. We don't care about your dreams, and we're not sure you are qualified enough for this role. These are some of the many limiting beliefs survivors across the world and Europe, the region we're representing today, have heard. Not from us, not from this wonderful community here, but from businesses, from police officers, from judges, from the systems who were meant and were built to protect them. So what do we mean by economic empowerment?
We believe economic empowerment has many components, so you cannot empower a survivor just by giving them a job. True empowerment requires a comprehensive cycle of steps and initiatives. It must be sustainable and cannot rely on just one aspect. So we describe it as a process of 3 levels. Personal empowerment, relational, and environmental empowerment. It all begins with the individual, because imagine constructing a building on a weak foundation. No matter how many layers and functionalities you add to it, it will remain vulnerable and eventually collapse. This is even more true when applied to human nature with all its inherent fragilities. Just as a building needs a strong foundation, a person needs a solid internal base to support further growth. So the first step in empowerment is to strengthen the individual from within by addressing their fears and their inner barriers. Then we have relational empowerment, focusing on the survivors' relationships, relationships with their families, their communities. It is essential to heal and rehabilitate those ties, but also setting boundaries, as they are important to keep you on the track of succeeding in your goals. Healthy relationships are crucial for a survivor's continued growth. Finally, we consider how the individual's empowerment interacts with the larger system, its environment. For example, do I understand my rights as a new citizen of a certain country? Am I empowered enough to vote freely? Do I have the information and resources needed to make a decision on who to vote for? True empowerment means being equipped to participate fully and freely in society. The notion that a job and minimum wage alone will fully integrate someone into society is a misconception. That alone can help you survive, but many times perpetuates the struggles of integrating into a community in a dignified way.